We're not going to think more clearly by racing our minds so much that we don't have room to hear that deeper wisdom. And it works at every level. And I mean, it was great talking to this guy because he ran a company and grew it from, a few $100 million a year to billions in income. And he did it where he didn't track the numbers. He tracked the state of mind of his people.
Right. So a completely different approach in some ways then.
Completely different approach, but one that if you really look at it makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have less people leaving the company as well, I imagine. He's
going to have less people leave. He had incredibly loyal. When I've talked to people who worked there, and I've read, there were a couple of doctoral studies done on his company and his work there. He's talked about like a god, and he's just a guy. I mean, he's a nice guy and he's a smart guy, but he just got it. He just understood that the way the mind works, we get the best out of ourselves not by putting more stress and more pressure, but by slowing down and getting more present.
Brilliant. Okay, so we talked about a little bit earlier on about other coaches and you working with other coaches, and I was wondering if you could tell me what kind of things you see as the traits that are present in the successful coaches, the ones that are consistently have an abundance of clients and things like that.
Well, I think it's important to define success a little bit. When Paul McKenna and I spent a couple years researching his book, I Can Make You Rich, and we met with a lot of billionaires, a lot of multimillionaires. We met with, I think, 13 of the 50 wealthiest people on the planet, and it was fascinating. And one of the biggest distinctions for me was realizing how many miserable millionaires there are in the world.
Right.
And so I think it's really important to make a distinction between successful as having a lot of clients and successful as loving your life and your business. Look, if you just want a lot of clients and you don't care about your quality of life, then I think you haven't thought it through. But B, I'm totally the wrong person to talk to. If what you want is an amazing quality of life and a thriving coaching practice, well, then there's a conversation for us to have. And one of the traits that people who are successful in that way, who are happily successful, have in common is they've been at it for a while. They didn't try to get all the way from 0 to $1 million in the first year. They let it unfold. Now, that doesn't mean it took 30 years. You know, for most people, getting from that first client to the first six-figure year, it's probably 2 to 3 years. But they've loved it. So it hasn't felt like they're failing. It hasn't been a desperate endeavor. It's been wonderful. And they're thrilled when they get there. And the ones who've gone from 6 figures to 7 figures and enjoyed it, that's taken more time. That's taken a few more years. But it's not like they were struggling and miserable at 250,000.
No.
And it's something that I often ask people when they say, I want to hire you to help me build $1 million coaching practice. Well, how's your 6-figure coaching practice? Oh, I don't have one yet. Well, okay, how's your 5-figure coaching practice? Well, I don't have one yet. Do you have any clients? No, but I'm talking to people. What's the hurry?
And it's quite interesting what you were saying in your tip today, where you were talking about how generally we're quite horrific at estimating how long something's going to take, and not putting a time limit on something can actually free you a little bit and allow you to enjoy the process rather than, I need to do this within 30 days or I need to do this in 12 months.
Yeah, need is a terrible con game we play with ourselves. Right? You need water, you need air, you need oxygen. That you really need. You need water. I think you can go a couple weeks, actually, without water. You can go months without food. We have so few needs, and yet we create this sense of neediness around our lives because we think it's going to motivate us to go quicker. And if it actually worked, then maybe there'd be an argument for making yourself miserable to try and make yourself successful. But not only does it not work, it's miserable. See, my way, worst case, you're happy. Best case, you're happy and drive a Porsche. And that just makes more sense to me.
Absolutely. So, if you could talk about your Supercoach Academy, and I kind of describe it as the Disney World of coaching, because they've got an awesome lineup of coaches that teach the people that come there. What was your hopes when you created it, and your expectations from the people that actually attend the academy?
Well, the first one was genuinely, I always tell the story. It's the true story. There was a movie when I was a kid that I loved called Let's Make Love with Marilyn Monroe and Yves Montand. And he played this millionaire who was in love with the showgirl, played by Marilyn Monroe, and she only dated actors. So he decided he was going to pretend to be an actor and get into the show with her so that he could court her. And because he was this incredibly wealthy guy, he hired the world's funniest comedian, who apparently in 1961 was Milton Berle, to teach him how to be funny. And he hired the world's best singer, who was Bing Crosby at the time, to help him learn how to sing. And he hired Fred Astaire to teach him how to dance. And I remembered thinking, God, that's how to do it. Like, if I want to learn something, I want to learn from the best people in the world. And so when I'd been being asked to teach coaching to a wider audience for a while, and I did little seminars around the world. But when I decided, okay, I actually am going to put an academy together where people from around the world can come to me, that was my philosophy. I just wanted to get the best people in the world, the best coaches in the world. And when I say that, I mean the best transformative coaches, the best coaches who work with this awareness that happiness leads to success more often than success leads to happiness. And get them together so that you can learn from those people, as opposed to the theoreticians, the people who have neat-sounding ideas that really haven't been lived in the world. And it turned out much better than I thought it would. I thought it might be a little chaotic. And what actually wound up happening is the same themes kept coming up, but because you'd hear it from so many different voices, there'd always be somebody who you could hear it easier from. And so somebody who might not get so much out of one coach would hear it from another, and over the course of the 6 months of the program, and then we have a strong alumni program where we keep offering up monthly classes just as part of the program for people. It's been gorgeous over the last couple of years watching people begin to build their careers, or a lot of established coaches come in and reignite their passion for coaching, because a lot of people really did get into this because they wanted to help people, and at some point got caught up in the whole, well, it's just about getting clients, and coaching is so often sold like a network marketing thing.
Yeah.
Make money in your spare time from home. And look, if you want to do that, you can do a course online for $49, and apparently it'll certify you in a weekend. So good luck.
Brilliant. And you're doing another one in 2012.
Yeah, so this is going to be our last one, at least in this format. And again, it's just the inner thing. My accountant and a lot of other people have said, "You're nuts. This is thriving. This is great." I just
do it again.
Yeah, well, it was. It was the perfect thing to do because it's what I really wanted to do. And if I did it again beyond next year, I'd be forcing it. I'd be doing it because I think I'm supposed to, or because I think it's good for business. So I'm very excited about this next one, because this last one, we've got the benefit of the first 2 years, and so we've been able to not just put together an amazing lineup again. We've got Robert Holden and Nancy Klein and Bill Cumming and George Pransky and Steve Chandler and for the first time Dr. Aaron Turner and Mara Gleason, who do amazing work in the business community. But we've got some really cool guest teachers: Genpo Roshi, Robert Diltz, Gay Hendricks, Jana Van Zandt, I think, will be coming back. And what's wonderful about it is we're not trying to prove the concept anymore. Like, we know it works. And so we're able to really just relax into making the experience as rich and challenging for the participants as we can. And that's one of the things that's really interesting. We have people fly in. We've had 18 countries. The people fly in every month from Saudi Arabia, from Norway, from Finland, from Dubai. It's Australia. I mean, literally round the world. And what they've often shared is that the level of commitment that it takes to get there is a huge part of what they get out of the program. And that's just been delightful, because that wasn't deliberate. That wasn't by design.
Yeah.
The way it's unfolded has just been a treat.
And they must leave with smiles on their faces, because it is a good lineup.
It is amazing, and it's a treat for me. I mean, part of how I put the lineup together is who am I excited about spending time with? Who am I excited to be locked in a room with for a while?
And we're nearing the end of the interview now, but I just want to ask a final question. In your own learning and development, what's exciting you at the moment, and what future plans have you got? Have you got any more new books coming out, or what's the plans?
Well, again, it's that following the inner thing. I've cleared my calendar from June of next year.
Cleared it?
Cleared it. Now, I'm sure it will fill back up. But it just was very clear to me that it was time to make space for something new to show up. I'm as curious as everyone else what it will be. And it may be, we've got a television pilot in the works. We've had a couple of syndication offers for the radio show that would take it national. We've, there are all sorts of possibilities on the table. But I'm really enjoying not knowing. And that's actually what excites me, is getting more and more comfortable not trying to predict the future and just enjoying the heck out of the journey.
Well, that sounds brilliant. Well, that ends the interview. I can honestly say you're one of the most chilled out people I've ever spoken to in regards to business and success. So I certainly enjoyed talking with you, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about all the phone stuff.
You're a lot of people want to get hold of you by the sounds of it.
Apparently so, but that was my bad. But thank you very much for your time as well, Aaron.
Absolutely. Well, you have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.